Hello, people of the world, and welcome to this episode of Middle America, where we will be tackling the Iran conflict and going over exactly, we're all in favor of get as many boots on the ground as soon as possible. We've all sent in our draft applications. Ed, I think, is already accepted, and so we'll be there pretty soon.
Yep.
I'm excited. I might
This
try and be the new Ayatollah. you know. So I'm just kidding. I don't want to die. But in reality, we're not here to talk about Iran. We are here to talk about something much more important, and that is the Pixar Studios. Uh, a movie called Hoppers is the newest edition of Pixar. It's coming out this past weekend, just came out, and has a 96% Rotten Tomatoes, saying it's the best Pixar movie since Coco 2017. But I really liked Soul. We'll get into that. I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I think as far as movie studios go, Pixar probably has my respect more than all of them. Like, I'm someone who really likes super violent Tarantino type, like inappropriate, messy, gory stuff. But I don't know if there's ever been a more consistently awesome, beautiful franchise than Pixar. I've never seen anyone do it better. What do y'all think?
I agree. I mean, I think the only studio that could maybe rival would be DreamWorks, but I still think Pixar just a huge upper hand over them. But you can't deny the greatness of How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda
That's true.
and Puss in
Those are
Boots
some
and
great
Shrek. Those
movies.
movies are awesome. Some
But I
class
mean, there is an argument to be made that those movies would not exist
without
without
Pixar.
Pixar. And that's why I just want to go into a little bit before we get into this. Just tell people at home and maybe even Presley and Ed, you might not know this, but just a little backstory into how this thing got started. A man named Josh Cooley, who's kind of the most important figure and head of Pixar, um, his whole life grew up, wanted to be in animation ever since he watched, Tom and Jerry cartoons as a kid. Um, Spent his summers when he was like 17, working at Disney World, like would dress up as, Mickey Mouse and Goofy and whatnot. And eventually, well, got a job at Disney, low-level job, pitched an idea that he wanted to make a computer animated animation. And Disney fired him immediately. And so eventually, 2 years go by, and he's still trying to get things to work. He gets some investor seed money from someone you might not suspect who saw the potential for something like this, and that man was George Lucas. And George Lucas hired Josh Cooley and a bunch of his friends to make about 5-second animation in the first Star Wars film, which is when the giant, uh, what are the big ships called of the Empire? Star,
But yeah, I know which like the
the
fucking
ones that look
star.
like a Dorito.
Yeah, I forgot. The
Well, that
cruiser.
ship, when it's flying through
Starfighters.
the air, or when it's flying through space, that is actually Josh Cooley and his wonderful team who were able to pull
Wow.
that off.
Oh, that's like when they zoom in.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
much
so
better.
yeah, from the original 1977, and then a year later, George Lucas helped fund a short film, which ended up being quite successful. And then it ended up being so successful that a man, you might have heard his name before. His name is Steve Jobs. Decided to invest some money into this company and actually became the owner of Pixar, but really let Josh Cooley kind of do whatever he wanted. And with the help of Steve Jobs' funding, they were able to make their second short film, which is an infamous lamp jumping around a room, which eventually became their entire opener for every single movie they would make thereafter. They ended up making about 5 or 6 more short films, and were able to get a pitch meeting with Disney where they pitched the idea of Toy Story. And I think it's very interesting to note that Toy Story's original idea was Woody would have been a much edgier, much more mean, which yeah, and we'll get into. I think he's already a dick.
We will definitely
He's
get into
yeah,
that.
he's
We
We'll
have a
get
lot
into
to
that.
talk about
he
with
Yeah.
ended
that.
up being a
Well,
dick anyways, but they wanted him to be much worse. They didn't want to follow the Disney formula of a musical and sweetness, and they actually wanted to make something that was more geared towards adults. And rightfully so, a lot of people have problems with Disney, but I actually think, and a lot of people assume that after Disney and Pixar's merger in 2007, that, Disney started to ruin Pixar and all this stuff. But in reality, Disney's always had a very heavy hand in Pixar. And they were the ones who told them, hey, relax on all this edgy stuff, relax on trying to make Woody this big of a dick. I mean, for example, Woody was almost 4 times bigger than Buzz Lightyear. He was almost like four
Wow.
or five times bigger than the rest of the toys. Like he was head honcho. And so they rewrite the entire story of Toy Story. They realized that Disney was right about a few things, and so were they. They kind of came to a compromise, and they came back a week later. They stayed up for almost a week. The entire Pixar team stayed up, rewrote the entire Toy Story movie, came back, got $10 million to make Toy Story, and made off it $352 million
Insane.
total
Dang.
box office, which means Steve Jobs' original investment went up by about 200, like something percent. And he was very happy about that.
Wonder why?
Obviously, they were on top of the world. But what's interesting about Pixar is that they were doing something that's never been done before. And it's really interesting to watch the progression of the Pixar movies because you can watch Toy Story and you can look at Andy and Andy's mom, Sid, for example, any human you see, and you can see how low quality the animation is for them. And that's actually one of the reasons why they didn't make a movie starring humans until The Incredibles, which wasn't until 2004, Toy Story being in 1995, because humans are basically how Pixar does things is they're working with uh, thousands and thousands of little triangles, and those triangles have to build up a giant character. And so they weren't only trying to break the barriers of storytelling and entertainment, but they were also trying to break their own barriers of the limitations and what they thought was possible for this animation. I think a lot of people, especially as kids, and maybe even nowadays, you might think that animation could be as simple as tell Woody to stand up. But obviously, as we know, ironically, that could be the case with AI and the future of AI. But in 1995, it was hours and hours and hours of work just to get Woody to walk from one corner of the room to the other. So they move on to Bug's Life, where that was their next big challenge. And I bring up them trying to break barriers to kind of show you how they made their movies. For example, Bug's Life came because they wanted to see if they could animate hundreds of characters. And basically, Josh Cooley said, I want more than 400 bugs on screen. And they told him, no, the best we can do is 40. And he said, no, you're going to have to do 400. And basically, they're like, oh my God. Somehow they were able to pull it off. Then they came out with Toy Story 2, and that's when they really just cemented themselves as not
Top
just
dog.
one-hit wonders. Right. Yeah. They said the scariest part of their career was actually a Bug's Life because Toy Story was such a great success that they felt that stress every day on set of A Bug's Life because they didn't want to be just one hit wonders. And Toy Story 2, very interesting. They had a story while Josh Cooley was going around the country promoting the movie. He actually wasn't super involved with the story. Comes back, sees what they have, absolutely shits on it. However, Disney says it's good to go. Josh Cooley says Pixar will never release something this low quality. They go back to the writing room. The entire studio, once again, up for 48 hours, rewrites the entire story, and within 3 months, had the entire new movie, which we now know as Toy Story 2. Um, then, after Toy Story 2 is where things get really interesting because Josh Cooley starts delegating movies to his close confidants and friends that were with him since the beginning. He lets one of his friends run with this idea that he has about monsters being nice and sneaking from like coming from your closet and scaring children, which does not sound like a great idea for a kids movie, but Monsters Inc. ended up being a huge hit. Then his other friend had this idea about a fish who loses his son and has to travel the entire ocean to go find him. And again, think about the animation spectacles that we see. The um, scene in Monsters Inc. with the hundreds and hundreds of closets, that scene alone took weeks of hundreds of people animating that. The scene, um,
With
uh,
all the doors.
yeah, with all the
Yeah.
doors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nemo was like they tried
Fish.
to capture sea life itself. And actually, Nemo, I believe, was the first Oscar that Pixar ever got. Then
Oh, you got
Incredibles
an
came out.
Oscar?
Hmm?
I actually never knew that. I never knew
Yeah.
Nick
It
got an
was the
Oscar.
first,
That's
and I believe the creation of the 3D animated category. Because by
Mm.
then, it was so amazing, and it seemed like Pixar was just popping out one hit after another. Next guy goes up, he wants to make a movie about superheroes. It's called The Incredibles. It's a major hit. While The Incredibles is being made, Cooley is so successful, decides to buy an RV and go on a massive road trip with his family on Route 66. Oh, ends up becoming Cars.
Bars.
Then we have Ratatouille. Then we have Wall-E, Up, Cars. It's all these movies, it feels like
it's
they could never stop coming out with absolute bangers and hits. And I really think they mostly have. There's a few movies that we'll talk about that don't quite meet the standard of Pixar excellence. But as far as Pixar itself goes, I really think that they
top
just
dog.
are so amazing. And um, part of the problem that they had too, and I recommend anyone who watches this to go watch the 2007 Pixar documentary, which is where I get most of my information that I just told you from. Great documentary. Was something that Josh Cooley had to fight for in the early 2000s was Disney and a lot of these other companies said, all right, we're never making 2D animation again like the old Beauty and the Beast, Snow White,
Mm.
because they thought that this was some secret formula that always uh, would put out like just an amazing movie. And I just want to say that I still love 2D animation. I love what Pixar was able to do. I don't think that 2D animation should just be uprooted and
Me
forgotten. I
neither.
think there's still a lot of beauty in that. But
It's a
I
different type of.
yeah, it's
It's a
just
different
different.
style.
I think I think all can be really cool. But now that I got my little spiel out of the way, um, let's
It's
get into
also
this
to add on
list.
to that, another cool fact. I don't know if you saw this in the documentary, but the animating system Pixar has was made by Pixar. There's only one
Yes.
company that can like uses it. It's its own unique systems. That's why the animation style is so like unique and different because they've literally I know it's not copyright, but like it's like no one else can touch it besides them, really. Like
Mhm.
it's their own system, which is pretty sick.
That patent is worth billions of dollars.
It actually is. I think Disney's just tried to buy it, like buy it off them for like 1 billion or something. Or they did. I don't remember. There's some sort of something happened with them.
I mean,
Mm.
a real shout out to Steve Jobs
Yeah,
for
'cause he
seeing the
helped.
potential in this because it should be noted that he lost $1 million a year for almost 10 years. And then one night made about $157 million right into his bank account
All
after
it takes is
releasing Toy
one.
Story. So that was a really smart investment on his behalf.
Yeah, I kind of
Not
forgot Steve
bad.
helped out with that because they did
But
all the software, right? Apple.
mhm.
They helped.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty
all
sick.
right, so without further ado, let's get into our list. Please make sure to like and subscribe this video. Leave us your comment. What's your favorite Pixar movie? We want to know. I
So
will
curious.
respond to any
And we're all
comment
open to debate. Our phones are open 24/7,
24/7,
365.
365. You
Like
got it.
always, always. I am bored. My season just ended. I have nothing to do. Let's talk about it.
My girlfriend broke up with me yesterday morning. I had to return her Legos. So
Oh,
not only
No,
took my heart, but she took my Legos. I have nothing else going on.
that's
Please
foul stuff.
you
comment.
still have your beautiful head of hair.
That's true. I do
She
for
might,
now.
she might take it too. But anyways,
Not if my mom's dad has anything to say about it. Huh. All right. Let's start our list with the first movie, 1995, Toy Story.
Where it all started.
Yes, and I just want to point out here that this movie was considered or is considered Tom Hanks's big break. Like he was not, I feel like a lot of people don't know, like he wasn't an A-lister at the time of this movie. If anything, I think Tim Allen was a little more famous just because I believe he had his own sitcom at the time. But um, this
yeah.
was Tom Hanks' like big, big
Hanks was
break.
in big. I mean, I'm not gonna say he was like this big shot
Yeah, he
actor.
was in Big. I believe Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, he was.
That yeah, before
He
this,
was
and
like,
that's
it's
kind of
like a
how he
beat.
got his Disney connection, and was able, and like Pixar was able to get him. But it's actually interesting. He did say after this movie that it was such a grueling process, and he would have to be in the studio like 9, 10 hours a day for months, and that he said he would never do another animated movie ever again in his life. Which
He did at least four of them.
Toy Story 5 is coming out this summer, so um, you throw enough money at any problem, it will be solved.
It will be solved.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, 158 million. Ooh, maybe I could be Woody one more time.
I think with this movie, I mean, we've talked about, or Hayes, you've talked about in length about how revolutionary and the process of making this movie and what this movie did for
Yeah,
animation and for Pixar's overall, at least earlier vision of like when you look at Monsters Inc., it's with a simple idea of monsters in a closet. We look at Toy Stories, it's toys talking. With Nemo, it's a fish in our world trying to find like in Ratatouille, it's rats being able to cook. Like these simple ideas and making them into such amazing stories. I think this
Yes.
movie was just the blueprint. So like I want to kind of pivot because I don't think that this like I don't think it's all that great of a movie if you just look at it because of how much I hate Woody. Throughout
Mm.
this entire series, I have such a big problem with Woody, and I love all the other side characters. I think they did a great job of having them actually be likable. And I think Woody's redemption in this movie is pretty good, I would say, but I feel like in every movie, he is just the worst part about it. And so I didn't know if you guys agreed. I didn't know
it
if you guys
causes a lot of
disagreed.
problems.
Well, with what you just said about, I think you're absolutely right that how Pixar takes like a very simple idea, and the beauty of Pixar is that they have this insane like character development journey throughout all of
Yeah,
their movies. Um, and the first of that was Woody and Buzz Lightyear. They
Mhm.
both start in a very different place and end
Yeah,
up like obviously
yeah,
very changed after
yeah.
their journey.
That's why I said like Woody's redemption is pretty good. And I actually love how he like him and Buzz's kind of connection because their connection grows
Yeah.
as the
We
series
both
grows, but they start on such different places. I like how their connection kind of came together towards the end when they're all at Sid's house. But again, it's hard for me to like love these movies because I hate the main character so much.
I see what you're saying. And if I'm being honest, I feel like I would put this movie as my, well, Toy Story 4 would be my least favorite Toy Story.
Absolutely.
And then,
I haven't even seen it yet, so I just know it was
yeah,
a
Toy Story
And
4 was just not it. But Toy Story 1, I like 2 and 3 better.
I
yeah. I
agree.
Um,
agree.
I
Three's
agree.
actually sleeper. I think three is the villain of in that. We'll get there. We'll get
We'll
there.
get
We'll
there.
talk
We'll get there.
yes, yeah. But it's interesting because the villain of this movie, like,
I feel like it's
it's very easy to
themselves.
say it's Sid. However, I think the even more truer villain of this movie is Woody. Like he's
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of
that's the
the,
thing. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, he's kind of the antagonist and protagonist.
The
Like
the
he,
main the like the biggest like discourse I feel like in the movie is Woody and Buzz butting heads. Like that was the whole
yes.
like kind of problem. That's where everything kind of became a problem.
I think Sid is just a manifestation of like a problem that they have to solve. I don't think that he is the antagonist. I think he is a antagonist, but I think he's just like a physical representation of like seeing those toys and how they're not loved and seeing that abuse and having them come together. I think Sid is just a problem that they have to overcome. He's not like a for I mean he is a force, obviously he's kind of
Yeah.
been captured, but
Sid's
um
also like somewhat relatable. Everyone knows like a kid like that.
Oh,
yeah,
he looks
Everyone knows
like
this.
every school shooter that's
Yeah.
ever shot up a
Yeah. Like
school.
he
Like
like
he is the blueprint
mhm,
for
like
just
yeah.
deranged
he
kid.
was kind of like that scapegoat where like yeah, like that was like it was an embodiment of the protest like of the problem in the movie, but like the
Mhm.
real issue was was
Was
Woody and
Woody.
Buzz. Yeah, it was Buzz and Woody. And that's why when in the end when they came together, everything was working because they finally got past their beef. Dude,
I
I
I
like I
I
really like
mm,
I forgot a lot about like so many parts about this movie. It's all coming together. I was like, it is honestly a really good story, I will say.
It is a good
it's
story, and it does
It is
show like Woody's like yes he's an asshole, yes he's a dick, but you do in the beginning when Andy changes all his cowboy decorations to astronaut and changes his bed sheets from cowboys to Buzz Lightyear, like you
yeah.
do kind of feel bad for him in that moment, but then Woody allows his own insecurity to uh just be the cataclysm for every decision he makes and just
Yeah.
just be a total dick to the new guy. But I also want to ask y'all, because something that really bothers me, not bothers, and I know I'm probably thinking about this too much, but what are the rules exactly for toys being alive? Because Buzz Lightyear, for example, fully believes he's an astronaut the first two-thirds of the movie. Yet, anytime Andy comes in the room, he does play dad like a toy. So, like, why would he do that if he was an astronaut? And two, the only time we do see the toys just full on reveal themselves to a kid is at the end of the movie with Sid, and it's like, are there any consequences to that? Like, if Sid's toys were being tortured for months and months, like, why didn't they do that sooner? Like, I feel like it is kind of vaguely and ambiguously like up to your
Yeah.
interpretation.
I think
Um,
part of that is for the immersion of for like kids, when they
right.
watch, they're like, oh my God, my toys are alive, like, you know what I mean? So then they'll like, you know what I mean? Like it's just a little bit more magical in that sense.
But
Have
if
you
I
I
think
were to find out that my toys were having all these awesome adventures
Yeah, I would be a
without
little pissed.
me, I would be
Yeah,
very, very
I'd be
upset.
fucking pissed, honestly. They're having way more fun. I get in there, they just, what was all the laughing? Like I heard laughter in here, bro. Like, no, that is true. Um,
I think that this may not have anything to do with the Buzz example. I think Buzz, like, and he believes in his astronaut, and maybe he was playing dead because it was maybe just like an instinctive thing. Maybe he thought that it was a threat, and Buzz would be like, serious threat coming through at the Ranger, like whatever he says into his little microphone. But I think because toys, when even when they're lifeless, they want to be loved, they want to be played with, they want to experience what a human is because that's kind of their, they like when Andy's like, oh, bullseye, go get him, and they're all lifeless and stuff. But if a toy came alive in front of someone they loved, then it would be, oh my gosh, that toy's alive, I'm gonna throw it away, burn it, bury it, literally everything I can. So I think they know that humans are like could easily turn on them if they come alive, is what I'm saying. And if they come alive to Sid because, well, I think it works well because if Sid was like, oh my gosh, all these toys came alive and tried to attack me, then his parents would be like, yeah, that's what you get for mutilating them all the time, and they just like wouldn't believe him.
Right.
So I think it worked in that example. I think that was a very self-contained thing that they did. But if Bonnie's toys came alive and then the kid in her class that sat next to her's toys came alive, there'd be a thing. It's like, oh my gosh, like these toys are actually alive. They're things. They're freaking scary. If someone caught Woody in Toy Story 4 when he went into Bonnie's school alive running around, they'd have been like, first of all, Bonnie would have been ostracized and cast out as a witch. But like if more toys started doing that, I think that people wouldn't play with them as much is what I'm kind of getting at. So I think that's kind of a definite reason
yeah,
why
the
they
story
would
wouldn't
play
move as
dead.
it does. The story wouldn't move as it does because if if one of the humans saw that like they like oh news like cats out of the bag toys can move like the whole movie's about that now or at least it
Mhm.
has to be but they can't
Yeah.
do that but going back to what you say how Buzz used to act like he acts like a like an astronaut
Hmm.
he also was like a baby quote unquote like he just became like he just got out of the packaging
True.
like he's a new toy so he was
Hmm.
new to that whole situation so like he said 2/3 of the movie, so he kind of chilled out as the series goes on because he's an older toy. He's like, all right, I'm not actually an astronaut. Because I don't think Woody runs around like, oh, I'm a for real cowboy. He kind of acts like one. He has the horse, but he kind of like makes fun of Buzz when he's like acting like an astronaut. He's like, you're not a
Well,
real
yeah,
one.
they
This
all know their toys. And
Yeah.
yeah,
plus
so like
then
I think
like
that's because he's new. He was a new toy.
right.
He didn't like, this is a new environment for him. And I don't know, like maybe he froze because everyone else did. He's like, oh, I guess like this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Or
I don't remember that exact detail, but maybe he did.
it also could just be like the instinct. They're toys. Like they're just like in their in their DNA. It's like, yeah, they're totally
It's
not.
kind of ingrained in their brain to do that,
Right.
even when it's not like natural, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when they don't mean to, is what I mean to
Also,
say.
like it humanizes them. So if they're walking around with humans, that would just make them tiny humans. I think it also keeps them as a toys. It keeps them separate from humans to toys. Because toys aren't supposed to be walking around with the humans in the room.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's interesting. I didn't think about that, Hayes. It's good, good question.
I did. I went on a little bit of a deep dive on that question, and there is a major theory that if the toys reveal themselves to kids, the kids will get cancer and die. So that is why they don't. And it actually
That's what
does
people are
make
saying.
sense. Well, it does. Like, do you
Did you
see
read that on
Sid
like
ever again?
WebMD?
Do you see Sid in the sequels? No. Sid is nowhere to be
I thought
found.
he was what there was wasn't there a thing where he was the garbage man in Toy Story 3?
Oh yeah, because I think 'cause
Is that
didn't he have
accurate?
low key like a
Because
redemption
yeah,
arc?
I think that was a real thing. I think that was a real theory at least because he had the garbage or he had the skull shirt
Yeah, and
on.
wasn't that his like redemption? Because wasn't that guy like didn't he help out? Because he
Yeah, he
knows
did. Yeah, he did.
he's
Well,
the only one in on the secret
he
too.
did, but he didn't mean to, but he did.
Okay. Oh yeah, I kind of remember now. They like yeah, but like still like story wise,
Interesting.
that was his redemption. He instead of being the villain, he saved them in a sense.
I don't know, but I don't quote me on how true that is, but I believe that that was a
I feel like that was
theory.
a thing though. Because I remember that. Because I remember him kind of coming back to save the day. I do kind of remember that as a kid.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
So this is the garbage man from Toy Story 3. And yes, they do have the same shirt. So that could be the same guy. Then that would deplete the whole cancer theory. Um, yeah, interesting.
It's a crazy
Fun.
theory. All right,
But
back
all
to
right. I think we gotta try and be as conservative as possible because there's so many bangers on
yeah.
here.
There are a lot like the S tier has to be like some of the best.
Yes.
I don't
So
this is the blueprint to everything, you
I
know.
think
So like
B.
it is there's a staple, but I don't know if it's S.
No,
Like
I'm gonna go B.
Yeah,
yeah, I think
I
it's
was
a
thinking
solid
B. I don't
spot.
even know if this is A.
Yeah, I'd say very
No,
solid, great movie. Like uh
yeah, but
Great redemption.
great
undeniably though, it's
redemption.
the blueprint. It's what started it all. So like,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
like undeniably it is like the classic, the like animated kids movie. It's a classic. But yeah, I think that's a good spot. I'm with that.
And also I tried to find this information. I couldn't find any like reliable source, but I tried to look up like how many toys from Toy Story were sold at like Toys R Us, for example, in the
Oh,
10 years that
I
followed
had
this
a
movie.
Buzz Lightyear and a Woody. I know for a fact I had
Yeah,
at least
I
one.
don't know the exact number, but I'm guessing it had to have been like half a billion, if not more. Like
I
uh
will say, I don't know if this was a mutual experience, but I was very disappointed when my Buzz didn't come to life though when I was a young kid.
Yeah,
I was
I'm sure
part of me was
every kid
expect
was. Like they went to their
yeah,
mom, Mom, it
I
doesn't
was low key
work.
expecting that. I was kind of expecting him to I'd be like, like,
I
oh,
never
okay.
actually owned any toys from Toy Story.
I
So
had a I had some. I know I had a Woody Buzz. I think I had the dinosaur too. I don't know if they sold him. I
I had
remember,
Rex. That was it.
yeah, he was one of my favorite characters. I loved him. Rex is the best.
Yeah, he's awesome.
and
Yeah.
something the last thing I want to point out before we move on to A Bug's Life
We gotta talk about it.
is hold on, what's his name? Mr. No, sorry, Ham, the
John
pig,
Ratzenberg.
piggy bank. Uh is named John Ratzenberg, yes. And he is in, I believe, every Pixar movie um, ever. So he plays Ham in this movie, and to transition us into A Bug's Life, he plays the
The big guy,
um,
I'm sure, right? This guy, like the chubby cheeks one.
The wasn't he the big grasshopper?
no, that's Kevin Spacey.
Is he the caterpillar, the big caterpillar?
He was like the talent
No.
scout of
Oh,
Oh,
the circus guy. The circus guy.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Where is he? John Ratzenberg. P.T. Flea.
Yeah, that was
P.T. Flea.
that was the PT Flea circus.
no, this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is him. So every movie we'll give a little shout out to him and actually see where he
Yeah,
falls off.
I'll find out one of his character. We can just get the actually everyone knows Piggy Bank from Toy Story. That's like
Yeah.
probably his most yeah,
Yeah.
he's
But
iconic.
this movie, I feel like there's not as much to say as Toy
No,
Story.
well,
I
Toy
think it's
Story
a
that was
great
gonna be a long one, bro. That was
yeah,
like as we said,
yeah.
it's important.
I think Bug's Life, in my opinion, is kind of no hate to it. I think it's a great movie, but I do think it's kind of one of the more forgettable Pixar
I
movies.
agree. I honestly almost forget it's a Pixar movie.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
I think people confuse it with Ants
yeah,
um
it was really
a
funny.
lot. And
Yeah.
but
And
regardless, I think it is
honestly, I used to get this confused with B movie all the time. I don't know what it was. Maybe they're just both very small.
Little
But
bugs, bro. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
There's a
There's a
weird
lot of just
period.
like bug
There's a
movies.
weird period, yeah. A lot of bug animated movies. Like, y'all ever see Fly Me to the Moon?
No.
No.
It was about flies getting sent to space. It was, oh, it's a
Yeah,
great movie.
that's interesting. But
Yeah.
I do think A Bug's Life is a great story, an example of overcoming tyranny and oppression and rallying your community to overthrow your oppressors. Like there's a lot of good stuff in here. I think
It's
Kevin
a deep,
Spacey's
it's a deep
character,
movie.
yeah, it's a deep movie. I think Kevin Spacey's character, the head grasshopper, is a great villain,
Underrated villain. I will say
underrated
he
villain
he
for
was
sure.
like I think
What's
the
his
scene
name?
I forgot what his name in the like the grasshopper in the movie was, but I think one of my favorite scenes in that movie was
Oh,
when
yeah.
oh Hopper was one of my favorite scenes when they were at like that kind of bar, like that grasshopper bar. I put quotations on it because it wasn't a bar, but some of the people were like, why do we even need to go back to where the ants are? And the grasshopper was like, okay, like, one little thing, that's it's not that harmful, but like thousands of little things, like they outnumber us so much. And he like put fear into them that the ants were gonna take over, which they inevitably did.
Well, and he
Um,
said he was like something great about that line. He goes, "If they ever realize how much they outnumber us, then we will not have our way of life anymore." And their way of life was just taking
Partying,
from them.
taking from the ants and
Yes,
partying with it, yeah. And so that's, I mean, you point that out, and I think that he was a really underrated villain. I think that that Flick, the main character, I thought it was cool how he was like such an inventor, but he was just an idiot at the same time.
Yeah, he was
And
such
and 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 it showed how stupid the overall ants were because they like as soon as they saw like they just casted out their one hope for survival because they were just their whole way of life was serving grasshoppers so they wouldn't be overtaken. But I think Flick's like his viewpoint allowed the ants to, believe in themselves, and obviously the circus, all the scenes with the bugs and the circus and them coming together and them partying was actually really cool. And I thought the ending fight scene was kind of cool. I thought the animation was a little like obviously it was from 1998, but there was a scene where there was a bunch of rain falling and it wasn't really great quality. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I do. Yes.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was like the best quality, but I think the ideas in that movie are very good. I definitely don't think it's as good as Toy Story, obviously, but I think it's a pretty underrated movie, but it's a little forgettable, unfortunately.
I
it was
think
good.
it's really important for like if I had a kid, like this would be a big movie that I'd want him to watch because the scene that you brought up, I think is like timeless. And it's really something that we still struggle with today, like realizing that th there are more people typically who just want like what's good for the people, good for the community, and we're always convinced by a small minority of people that there's no way that we can have freedom. In a way, it's kind of like the American Revolutionary story of 1776. Like, we were able to overthrow the greatest military might the world had ever seen by simply saying, like, no,
Together.
you can't just take all of our shit. We don't like tea or soccer. Get out of here, you know?
Yeah.
No one, get that kilometer out of here. We're miles now.
Yeah, it's called soccer.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Ed?
It is, yes.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it's so I think the ideas of like this movie are very cool and like Flick I think is such a great character. I think I think he's not obviously not one of the best main characters, but I think he's very underrated in his
Underrated for sure. He's a good one.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Flick is he was I like how he was just like a little tinker, like he was like he was just like you said, like he was smart but also dumb at the same time. Like he made so many dumb decisions, was so like oblivious to so many things, but then like in
But
the end,
but 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 at the same time, he was also the one who was like our our entire, and he was the only one who stood up to the grasshoppers, and
yeah,
he was like literally the only one, and and he was like, your entire purpose is to serve these people, like to just day in and day out in the assembly line. If they don't follow that assembly line at the very beginning of the movie, the first scene, like the ant freaks out because he loses his line in where he's going to
I,
the
yeah,
to the big leaf to put the stuff on it. And I so I thought like Flick's character, I thought he was a really good character.
no, I agree.
Mhm.
No, underrated, but like Hayes said, I honestly wouldn't hold it that high. Like I'm thinking maybe C for it.
I was thinking C for this one.
Ooh, I was gonna say B, but if y'all are both saying C, I guess.
But
I can't I don't think I could put this in the same realm as Toy Story.
thing is,
Mm.
these are like this is
Yeah,
like the tiers don't like say like oh like if it's in C, it's not that good of a movie. It's just like we're working with bangers here, so
that's
like
true. That's a good
yeah,
point. Yeah,
yeah,
all right.
we
I'm
got a
good with
lot more
C.
to cover.
Toy
So
Story 2.
yeah, and then yeah, this is a good one. This is a good
See,
one.
this one, I feel like off rip, I would just say A. Like,
A.
I
Off rip, I
love
agree.
this movie.
This is it might be my favorite. Three's up there. It's hard to say, but like two, dude, like just like everyone loved that stick, the claw. Like that was it's classic, bro. It's a classic scene.
Well,
That's
that's from
two.
the first. That's from the
That's in the
first
first
movie, eh?
one.
That's first.
Yeah,
Yeah. With all
The
the
two.
that's a Pizza Planet.
yeah.
I thought that
And
was
the
all. I
third
thought that was all
one.
in two. I knew they were. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. Wait, then
No,
that okay,
two,
two's with
two,
the arts. Is
two,
one with
two's with
RC Cool?
two's with Art's Al's Toy Story, and the chicken guy, the chicken head guy.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I,
see.
I think two is really powerful for me the first time I saw it because of the scene where, Woody and Jesse are fighting often, and before Woody decides to like leave for the first time, he's talking to Jesse. He's like, "What happened?" And they give that flashback of her, and she got replaced, but she ended up in storage for like an unspecified amount of years. Like she was literally just in storage. And I think that like I thought that scene was so powerful because
That was heartbreaking.
it really
Yeah,
was like
it's
seeing
pretty
her
sad.
just thrown under the bed and her being able to like do nothing about it. Because like obviously Woody was put in such a good position because he was just like the top dog, and obviously Woody was much more of an asshole than Jesse was. And I thought that flashback was literally heartbreaking for me.
Ed, can you
Yeah.
look up Wheezy from this movie?
Oh my gosh.
And
Because what
one thing
Presley is
about
saying,
Woody too is
what?
I think he's a great example. Sorry, I mean to like interrupt,
Oh
but a
no,
great example.
go.
I think Woody's the great example of uh, the fall. He just kind of keeps going down the food chain, I guess, for toys, and he's like has a hard time dealing with that.
And
He's
my
just like
problem with it, it's in every single movie.
yeah,
It's
he doesn't really gets over it. He always is this guy,
we
bro.
dude, his voice
Fucking
box,
guy.
man, that was heartbreaking.
Dude, one of the biggest fucking plot twists too of my childhood. Like crazy plot twists.
That yeah, that was pretty
'Cause he was
good.
he was he was yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I
No, that
kind of
was
want
like
to
I
like.
was dumbfounded.
Well, I kind of want to go into the lore and the behind these
Mhm.
toys, and I feel like Toy Story 2 really explains it, especially with Wheezy here, when in the first picture when we see him like with all the dust over him and stuff, he hasn't been played with in months and he's starting to die. And I feel like most, as you'll see throughout all the Toy Story movies, a big part of it, I believe, is that the children are their life force. And throughout Pixar, you can actually see like memory is kind of the life force, like of not being forgotten. And once you're forgotten, you essentially don't exist. And that's why I think the sheriff, the head old man, who tries to trap all of them to get them to go to a museum. I think he is trying to be immortal, essentially, because Woody's plan for playing with
Prospector
Andy,
Pete.
yes, and because
Mhm.
Woody's plan with playing with Andy has an expiration date, as we saw with Jesse. Like, eventually, your kid will grow up and they're not going to play with you anymore. As we see with Wheezy, if that happens to you, you will eventually just cease to exist. But if you were to be seen and played with by children all the time, like in a museum, for example, your life would essentially be limitless and you'd live forever.
Immortal,
So
yeah.
it's kind of a really interesting concept between like, is it better to live in a cage forever or live a very short life full of like fun and joy?
Yeah.
Also to go with your point to make it even more on the case of Prospector Pete, in Woody's Roundup, the show, Prospector Pete was always kind of like the idiot
Hmm.
character, or like he wasn't like he was just kind of the run of the mill. Like no one wanted to play with him. They wanted Woody, they wanted Jesse, they wanted Bullseye. Like they said the Japan said the exhibit wouldn't be complete without Woody. So it's
Right.
just Prospector Pete, like he had seen, like I've seen so many people like throw me to the side, cast off, and because no one just wanted to play with him. So he wanted to finally be appreciated because he knew if he found it, like no one's gonna play with him. So if he was put in an exhibit where people would look at him, like they would also look at him too. So like that's even more of a case as to why Prospector Pete was like doing what he was doing, and
Right.
I thought that he was actually like I couldn't tell he was the villain until like it actually happened with the remote and him locking the vent, and I thought that was really interesting.
And Woody in this movie is a lot nicer than the first one. Like he's definitely better.
Hella dick.
Although if he had just like when all his friends came to save him and he said no, and then like
Oh,
5 seconds later was like, actually, I'm gonna go. Like if he had just said that in the beginning, we could have saved a lot of time. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so Woody's just pulling a classic, just like Woody asshole moment there. But
Woody asshole. Oh, look at me. I'm Woody. I'm the best ever.
but outside of the Prospector and the Woody story, the second greatest part of this movie is the Buzz Lightyear and oh my gosh, what's the villain's name?
Third.
Zurg, Emperor Zurg.
Third, yeah,
That
that was
was awesome.
honestly
I am
that was my
your
favorite part of the
father.
movie. That was
That's honestly what makes Lightyear so disappointing because of Toy Story 2. Because we all had this idea of Zurg and they just spit on our
they
faces with
spit it
it.
out. Yeah, no, Toy Story 2 made Zurg like the man.
He was
Oh,
sick.
it was so awesome.
That fight scene was awesome, and then you had Rex. I just defeat Zurg, like because he was playing with like he was playing that game and trying to beat Zurg for the entire
Yes.
movie.
The opening with Buzz Lightyear's video game is like maybe the coolest part of that movie.
I was so
Yeah,
immersed in that. I'm not gonna
I was
lie.
like, no way. This is like like when I was a kid, I was like, this is Buzz Lightyear. This is what he's supposed to be like.
I
So
will
that's a
never
good point because the
understand.
Lightyear movie did not feel like that at all. But
Dude,
as a kid, that's who Buzz Lightyear was for us. Was that
I'll
man?
I'll never understand why they didn't have him just do a bunch of cool space galactic missions and just had him like stuck on one planet and then don't have Zurg in it until 2/3 into the movie. Have him do one thing, like one he's like Zurg for 5 seconds, and then he reveals himself as Buzz Lightyear. When we know that Zurg is his father, and that was the whole like lore. But they just they spit on everything. They didn't even have Tim Allen do it, which is maybe the biggest crime of all.
Can we just skip Lightyear and put it at terrible? Like
Yeah, let's go ahead and just say Lightyear sucks, but
Lightyear's
it's
e- Lightyear's the worst Pixar movie. Let's just go ahead and have spoilers for everyone. It's the worst one.
it's absolute
Not great.
garbage. There's
Not
no
Okay.
great.
point in even like I
It's
mean,
just it's not Buzz Lightyear.
it's
It's just
not
not.
Buzz
Just
Lightyear.
not
It's
Buzz
Is
Lightyear.
not
is
cool.
isn't it the first animated movie with a LGBTQIA plus
IA
uh
2 plus.
I ate two
Don't
plus.
forget about those
So,
two-spirited people. Come
I'm,
on
I'm
now.
I'm 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 very sorry. I'll be sure not to do it again. But isn't it the first movie with like an openly?
I believe so. I don't, yeah, that sounds right. And I remember actually that Snoop Dogg got a lot of flack because he said that he went to take his daughter to it and he was like, man, I wasn't, ready. And everyone was like, what do you, whoa, 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 what do you mean you weren't ready? And he was like, never mind, I'm sorry.
You're gonna tell Snoop Dogg, whoa, whoa, what do you mean you were? Come on, it's Snoop
I
Dogg.
get what he's saying. Like that, like
Yeah,
if you're taking your 4-year-old kid who doesn't know like what a lesbian
because
is,
that's a conversation that you have to have with
yeah.
if you're
Yeah,
not.
that's a good point. He's like, oh, this was I was not ready for this to happen. Like, have that conversation with your daughter yet? You know?
But
He's
also, it's like, okay, do we have to put a disclaimer that there's a lesbian character in this?
no, yeah,
So that's the
Yeah,
thing.
it's complicated. I
exactly.
don't.
On the contrary, it's just
Disclaimer, gay. Like, yeah, I don't.
gosh.
I just, yeah, I don't know. But regardless, it sucked. The whole movie
Yeah,
did. It was
yeah,
I
that was
to this day it pisses me. I love Chris Evans. I think most of us do.
everyone
Love
We
him.
all
does. Yeah,
love
but
Captain
that was a
America.
big moment for Chris Evans.
He
Why
shouldn't
was
have done
Tim
it.
Allen not Buzz Lightyear?
I don't
That's
know.
that's who
He
that
is
is.
Buzz Light. Yeah,
Uh,
come on.
it
God,
was
he
that
was
whole
Buzz
movie
Lightyear
was a
was
mistake.
fucking. It was great. Tim Allen was great as him.
I thought Buzz was a great character in Toy Story 2. I thought these were some of his best moments in
Yeah,
the
I thought
in the
this was probably like,
franchise.
yeah, I agree. This was like a big
Yes.
moment for him, and I think that was kind of like that was on purpose, with Woody too, because Woody's somewhat stepping down from the podium, and it's kind of like Buzz is not stepping up, but like Woody made room, for him to kind of like all right, he's also like prominent in this story and like
Yeah, well, it's always been
food
like Woody
chain
and
because it's like
Buzz are the two main cats.
yeah,
But
yeah, they're the two big dogs,
Yeah.
like. Well, Buzz is the new big dog. That was kind of like the whole point of the new movie was like there's a new man on campus and he's like he's the hot shit. He's an astronaut.
but I will say I think Woody handles his
So
like
bad.
I mean it's Woody and Buzz and they're both Andy's favorite toys, but I think Woody handles being away from Andy way worse than all of the other toys because like
Absolutely.
I mean we'll get to Toy Story 3 and stuff, but um so that's why I wanted to say when they're both away from Andy, I think Buzz is starkly the better character. Um without a doubt. And I want to say one thing that always kind of irked me about this movie, I thought it was crazy that Bullseye had Woody on his back and was like, or had someone on his back and was like chasing down a plane. I always thought that was a bit kind of crazy
Yeah. He's a
because
fast toy.
I mean like listen, I know it's Bullseye from Woody's Roundup and no disrespect Bullseye. You're one of my favorite animals that's ever been depicted in fiction.
Bullseye's
In,
awesome.
in animation, Bullseye is awesome. But
Bullseye's
like,
loyal.
is he chasing down a plane? I don't know if he has that in his bag.
The toy horse is chasing down a full on jet.
A full on jet carrying thousand. That's on a flight to Japan, so it's a giant plane.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. So
Wait,
but
Ed, before we move on, can you look up the scene with the old man who like fixes Woody?
Oh,
You know what I'm
the
talking
track
about?
guy. Yeah.
That, in my
That
opinion, was ASMR before ASMR was a thing. That scene is so just visually satisfying to
yeah,
it's
watch.
so like yeah, it
he
is
scared the
very
crap out
visually
of me. But like
satisfying.
when he actually was in it, when it showed him fixing Woody,
The
that was
animation
that
guy
was cool.
definitely was like, I'm gonna cook something up here,
Yeah,
y'all.
that was some major cooking.
That was also like that was one of my favorite scenes from the movie, honestly. That was like a really funny
That and the airport scene, which I don't know if any kid our age is
The
able to
airport
go
scene
to
was
an
cool. Like
airport without thinking of that.
the baggage claim, and then when they're getting to the airport, when they're driving the car, I thought that, and in the Pizza Planet truck too. I thought that was awesome. I don't know if we have sound on this. Oh, we do.
I got it. Yeah.
Specimen ready for cleaning.
Yeah, that guy is so awesome.
Yeah, no, this scene actually is really like aesthetic, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's just amazing. Yeah, like we were
Like,
saying, this and the airport scene is just
yeah.
forever in my
Dude, it's
mind.
funny that this is like not this is so unrealistic. No one fixes a toy like this.
You don't know. How many toys have you fixed, Ed?
Dude, none, because there's no guy like this who exists, bro.
okay. Well, that guy definitely has no wife, no kids, like two alimony payments, and he just wants to fix toys for the rest of his life.
No, it's closed. We're not preschool toys, Slinky. We can read.
All right, well, you can turn it off.
Oh
Yeah.
God, dude.
Let's
That's a pretty funny scene too.
Yeah.
oh yeah, when they all jump on the mat together. There's also, do you remember the scene where they run into Barbie for the first time and they're having that huge like sorority party?
Yeah, and Ham and Rex are going federal.
Yeah, they're just I mean that
They're just
yeah, Toy
chilling.
Story 2 is
Wait,
just so gas, dude. They
wait,
have
I
so
actually
many
kind
great
of want to
moments.
see that scene real quick. Toy Story
Just look up a
2.
picture of it because it's a little glitchy when you play it on your
Okay,
screen.
we're not gonna do that. Toy Story 2, Barbie.
Barbie party.
Yeah, this one. Look at Rex in the back. Wait, I want to see a picture of Rex.
Yeah, Mr.
Uh,
Potato Head is married to Mrs. Potato Head in this scene too.
Look at
Yeah,
this
and
version.
yeah, and he was. I mean, he got caught in not in 4K, but he got caught in 3D animation.
Yeah, look at all their faces. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
Oh
I would
God,
have a
classic,
hard time too.
dude. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Toy Story 2, very deserved spot. Very
yeah.
deserved.
Hey.
Great
Very
movie.
easily A tier.
Yeah. And then
Monsters Inc. Okay, Monsters Inc.
let's I
And me and Hayes have we kind of talked about the Monsters Inc. versus Monsters University debate, and
mhm.
I guess I won't spoil what I think of that right now, but I don't think Monsters Inc. was. I think Monsters Inc. is one of the funniest Pixar movies. But
Great.
I don't think I think it's such a cool like premise. I think it's such a cool idea, but the overall story, I don't think it has as much. I don't think there's as much like character development in this story as there is for others. I think it's just solely meeting a kid and his opinions change and he just wants
I think Scully might be one of like has one of the biggest. He has a huge character arc.
I don't know because he seems like a nice guy. He treats his colleagues well. He's this big time scarer, but he's not like I don't think he's very egotistical. Like
He pulls a
he
180 very fast. Like almost
he
as soon as the what's the little girl's name? Boo.
yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
as soon as Boo is in the movie, he's like in love with her, non-romantically or sexually, obviously, but just like this is such a beautiful little thing and just complete. I always kind of
Yeah,
thought
it
watching
was
this
an
movie,
eye-opening moment because Monster's supposed to scare kids, but he's like, fuck, I want to
yes,
like protect this thing.
but I kind of think in this movie he's kind of a huge dickhead to Mike.
He is
Like
a well, yeah, no, I think that was yeah.
like
No,
Mike
and
has been
Mike can
working
like
his entire life to break this record, and the day before he breaks it, he's like, I don't care anymore. That would be very hard to hear. Um,
yeah, and like
as Mike was
they've been
asking.
working their whole lives.
Yes.
And dude, I've been seeing university too, bro. They went to school together, like they like their ups and downs together, bro. It's like, dang, bro, don't treat your number one day one like that.
The scene I always hated from Sully was when they get banished and the abominable snowman is there
Which is
and
Ham,
Sully will
what's his name?
which is Ham, which shout out John Ratzenberg.
John Ratzenberg,
Um,
yep.
Oh,
John
we got to get his
Ratzenberg,
character. Who is he in this?
The
the
Abominable
Abominable
Snowman.
Snowman.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and so like the scene that I always hated me was like and like Sully was like, yeah, and like
He was
I gotta get back to Boo, and Mike was like, what about us? Like me, like we've been working this like since
he, oh, okay.
uh
Okay, it just like exited out for a second, but I think it's all good.
okay. Okay. Well, let's hope so.
Um, so I guess getting back to it, I don't know. Sounds like B.
I would put it
I'm just
as
gonna
a B
go with that.
personally.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, I
want
mean,
to like
I would too. I think like when I say like I don't think Sully went on too crazy of an arc. I don't think he had a thing where he's like, I hate humans and stuff. I hate them, and so I know there's a scare shortage, but I don't think it was very satisfying because he just goes from a scare to just being a good dad. I don't think it wasn't very rewarding to me. I wish we got more Mike Wazowski. I think
what
he's one of,
doesn't
huh?
I was like because like Toy Story and Bugs Life or something like the stories were so like I don't know, like it was just like
Mhm.
woven put together well. But I see what you mean. Monster Inc. was a little bit just more distasteful and bland in that regard. It was funny, but like
Yeah,
I think it's one of the funniest Pixar movies.
yeah,
yeah.
no classic, some great scenes. No, but Press, I think you're making some good points honestly about Monster Inc. I was kind of gonna say some of the same stuff.
Yeah, I wish we got more Mike. I wish we got more Celia for sure. I love Celia in this,
That's his
and I wish,
girlfriend, right? With the
yeah,
snake.
yeah, with the googly moogly, yeah.
Yes.
And I think I wish we got
I
more,
like the
yeah.
villain.
Water Noose and Randall, those like I wish we got more. I wish there was more of a like when Water Noose has that scene where it's like, I'll kidnap 1,000 children. Like I wish there was more of like more of us finding out stuff about really what they're doing, of them just being a good father and daughter duo. That's how that. But
Yeah,
I wish we got a lot more of the things I just said. But I do think that this is, in my opinion, I still think Cars is a little funnier. This might be the one of the funniest like Pixar movies.
it is
I
really no,
agree.
I
Easily,
agree. It's
easily.
super
But
funny.
I do want to ask y'all a very important question here, and that is, would you, if you put yourself back in your like 7-year-old headspace, would you be more
Dude,
scared
the next
of
I've kind of been
Sully
doing that this whole
or
time.
Mike Wazowski?
Mike, for sure. If I saw a green ball with one eye and shark teeth, like I'd freak the fuck out.
Dude,
Mike is
that's
like
what,
a
if he just
cuddly
like stood in the corner and you just see a giant eye blinking, like I think that's scarier.
that's terrifying, dude.
So
Mike
I
is
was always kind
Okay,
of
but
confused why he
okay, but
wasn't good enough.
Sully's roar is pretty scary. Like
yeah, well
Yes.
that's his
the
ace up the sleeve.
the roar that he had in Monsters University, where he like had all those scream cans and they all pretty much exploded. Like if I was an adult in that room, I'd be fucking terrified of a blue being.
Yeah.
But
That's like, yeah, making that noise. Yeah.
if I was just having like a sleep paralysis demon and Mike opened his one eye, I would be
Yeah.
pretty terrified.
Yeah, Mike would be terrifying. And it's like grin too, bro.
Yeah,
Like
Dude, I might
like
be
I would
equally
shit my
scared if he showed up like with a stool and a microphone and started just like telling jokes. I'd
just
be
having like
yeah.
like, what?
just having like a Robin
I'd be like,
Williams
who is
routine or
this?
something.
No, no, Mike is probably one like he's a good point, bro.
Dude,
Like
well,
you
when you just said about like
have to
Sully's roar,
try.
yeah, but what you just said about Sully's roar, it's like I just kind of realized like how did the parents never wake up to that shit? That's like
Or
he roars very loud.
Like what the fuck was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be I think it'd be pretty cool if we saw a scene of like a parent who comes into the room and you see this like a giant monster and he's like freaking out. He's like, oh, because because the monsters are obviously scared of the humans too.
Right.
Um, and I think of like if if he was about to start scaring someone, and then the door opens, and it's like the mom and dad being like, "Oh, like I just want to check on my little baby,"
Oh,
and they're like, "What the fuck?" Like they just like start freaking out. I think I would have enjoyed that.
that would have been a good scene, like to see like Mike or like not Mike, slowly like over someone and get back through like the closet or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been a good scene. Also making because to be honest, it as a kid, some of those scenes were scary. Like I was kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, not with Sully, but more so like honestly, Mike did kind of freak me out as a kid. He looked a little weird and freaky, bro.
See, I don't think you could make this movie today
No.
because kids all have
Uh-huh.
phones. So they would have just like recorded Sully coming into the room being like, I
yeah.
fucking told you, mom. Like
Yeah.
it would be
Six,
all
seven, like,
over
hey,
social
mom.
media. Be like, there's a major
We can't
problem
do
with
that.
kids' closets. Like there'd be the FBI would be waiting for them, like shoot them up. It would be very bad.
Yeah. It would not work, yeah, in
Yeah,
today's day
the
and
kid would
age.
probably just make Sully just be like 6, 7.
No.
But yeah, I
Gosh.
think B is a pretty good spot. Um,
Yeah, it's a solid movie.
it's a
Mhm.
solid.
So
I like
good.
it a lot.
Should we, dude, the next five are some heaters.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Well, the
be,
next,
we got
dude,
some good ones coming up.
the next seven are,
These are like, this is like,
There's no way y'all are including Cars 2 in that.
yeah, wait,
no,
actually,
it's
wait, one, two. Dude, I like Cars too.
one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. No, I'm
Wow, we're
including
gonna
Toy Story
disagree on
3.
that. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. All right, cool.
Brave's good too. I mean, we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but that's fine. Um,
Finding
Finding Nemo.
Nemo
I
is
so
just so iconic. Like you can't go wrong with Finding Nemo
yeah,
ever.
it
It's such a
is.
good movie.
It's it's probably the most. I would say it's probably the like
They
besides Toy
made
Story, it's probably the most iconic Pixar movie.
I would
they made
agree.
Nemo so fucking cute. Like
Oh my God,
Nemo is
adorable!
he's literally the most adorable thing ever, and like you root for the
It's like the
and
little
yeah, he
fin,
is
right?
the little lucky fin he calls it. And what I love about this movie is just like it's a dad doing literally anything to rescue his son, and everyone in the ocean somehow knows about it. I think it's really cool. The only thing I really didn't like about this movie is and it's kind of layered because in the first scene, obviously you see Marlon's wife and his like 400 kids or whatever he has like get genocided in the first movie
By a Barracuda.
by a barracuda, yes. And he only Nemo is saved, and so we do and literally anything to protect Nemo. But I wish, but like besides that scene, we never get anything else beside like of that. Like we never like does Nemo even know about what happened? Is that a
Yes. Because that's why they live in perpetual fear. And he's
yeah?
not allowed
Well,
to.
yeah, but does he ever tell Nemo? It's like, hey, you remember what happened to all your brothers and stuff? Like, did we ever like get that?
I don't think they ever had like that conversation on screen. I think that's more of like a Stranger
I'm
Things
saying,
5
I'm saying,
off screen type deal.
yeah. So you say it was off screen, I guess. But I mean, but I'm just saying,
It's
I
probably like
would have
we
liked to have
noted.
had it on screen and like have Nemo. What I wanted to happen is like when Nemo is thinking of going out to that sea liner
To touch
where
the
the
butt.
yeah to touch the boat and to touch the butt, yeah. And I would have liked his like Nemo, like literally my entire like humans took my family, they took everything from me. And yeah,
I can't
and
do
Nemo
that.
still goes and like he's and then when he gets captured by the humans, he's put in that fish tank, he realizes like, oh my gosh, like I should have listened to my dad. He should have listened to him anyways, like for sure.
Yeah.
But I would have liked that little detail.
That's a big scene though, because like his dad was overprotective in the beginning because
But
rightfully so.
Right,
But
right.
like
yeah,
he
valid
did
crash out. Like honestly,
no,
the first time Nemo disobeys him, he gets kidnapped. Like,
Yeah, no,
like
no. I mean, it's the ocean's a scary place.
Yeah.
But for
Mhm.
Nemo's character arc, like that was him kind of be like, you know what, like I'm not just gonna listen to my dad anymore. This is like a thing my friends are doing. I want to do things with my friends, and turned
What
out it fucked up.
and that's kind of why I wish we got Marlin actually telling Nemo. I mean, maybe this maybe I don't need it. Maybe I can read between the lines, as they say. But I wish we got that so I can actually see that Nemo knows that his entire family got genocided by what was out in the deep ocean. But Marlin he's rightfully overprotective, but he's just like. But to be fair, whenever you tell a kid that he can't do something, that
They're
kid
gonna
is way more inclined to do that thing than he was to
yeah.
not do that thing.
yeah, I was about to say, even if he did know the whole backstory and was told it every day of his life, that might honestly make him want to be rebellious even more. Like that's just kids' nature
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
that's fair.
just
kids
That's
disobey
fair.
the
are
rules because they don't think it's fair.
nature.
And yeah,
Um,
Dude,
mhm.
true villain of this story is the dentist. Like guys, I don't know about you. That movie.
He does with the
Oh yeah, that
animals.
niece. Oh my God,
She
dude,
scared me as a
she
kid.
was the
Darla.
worst.
Oh my
Well,
God.
dude, that movie scared me of the dentist for a long time. Like I was terrified to go to the dentist after watching
I was
it.
scared of Bruce too, the shark when he
Oh
turned
yeah,
bad.
yeah. Bruce was not. He was. Yeah. I mean, Bruce was a scary guy. He was a
Now that y'all
shark.
mention it, there isn't like a clear one set like antagonist in this movie.
No.
Like
Well,
the
I think that's the whole
antagonist is
point. It's
kind of
the
just
ocean.
the ocean. Yeah,
Yeah, the ocean. Like the ocean's a
I love that. I
me
love it.
no.
too.
I love how there's not someone. Obviously, we root against Darla and stuff, but there's not like
There's no creature
something where
that's
like, oh, you got to
inherently
beat him.
bad. Like
It's
the
just
shark is inherently bad. He's a shark. You
yeah.
know, how do you expect a shark to act like
It's
that? You know, like that's just how it goes. No, I think that was something they did
yeah.
really well with all the
Mhm.
movies, or both Nemo and Dory's. Like it was like just the ocean
Yes.
and the presence the ocean
Mhm.
had.
And we really
Let
did get to see all of it.
let me.
Yeah, it was pretty
Like
awesome. And
it
they
Mhm.
was
really
pretty
touched
great.
like yeah, no, like the sea turtles, that was obviously I think one of the
Did you see that? Did you see that? Yeah, like you were totally wrong,
yeah.
dude. Like the him and Squirt,
It's
that was
also
awesome.
crazy.
That
It's
was
like
really
what I
cool.
love too is like that could exist at the same time as the shark could, you know?
Hmm.
Like I don't think those scenes were too far off,
No,
like from each other. I think they
the
happened pretty
shark was in before that, but the turtles was just a little bit after that.
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So like in like chronologically, that wasn't so far. So it's like that just gives you that example, like the ocean's just so like there's just so much going on there.
Let me know if you guys disagree with me. But this is like the only other thing I was had a couple problems with this about this movie. Do y'all think that Marlon was such a huge dick to Dory?
Yeah, he kind of
Like
was
a
for half the time.
giant dick to Dory for
Yeah.
the 3/4 of the movie. Like Dory, in my opinion, was like the only reason that they got there to P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. I
Yeah.
think that
Well, I don't think it's like probably like I mean it's definitely purposeful. Like I think like I don't know. Well, I think that's one thing. I think the part is this is like Marlon was so scared of losing his son, but he was also so scared of anyone coming in his life to take away his son, you know? So like
Right.
he was very he didn't like it didn't seem like he had really any friends besides like it just seemed like it was him and his son. So like I think, in a way Dory filled kind of that hole, which was scary for Marlon. This is getting deep, but like, see what I mean? Like, I think
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
that's
kind of
fair.
more of a deeper thing for Marlon. That was he was facing his own demons. Like, he was facing the fact that he like kind of cut himself off from everyone else because of that. But like, Dory was so persistent, like she didn't just leave, and then they
Yes.
became friends. And then the whole second movie comes out. But I thought that was a pretty powerful thing. I agree he was a dick, but I think that was kind of purposeful on Marlon's character because he was, he's a secluded dad who has trauma.
And in Marlon's defense, it would be very, very difficult not to be very pissed if your son is missing, and the only person that can help is someone with short-term memory loss. Like that would
Yeah.
be incredibly annoying. So
Yeah.
I kind of
No.
do understand
Mhm.
his
Yeah, she was
annoyance with
purposely
this.
annoying, honestly. And like, yeah, he was just like he lost his son. So like he was not really in a spot to be like, be kind and be,
Yeah.
patient with her. He was like, we gotta fucking find my son. Can you like, like that's a good point, Hayes. Like she was probably the worst person to
Yeah.
have in that situation. But
But
on the
at
contrary,
at the same
she's
time,
the only
she
reason
was like the only one who was actually who was like
committed.
help because they had the scene with the school of fish who I think is played by Ham.
Is that, yeah, who is
Yeah.
the
I think Ham is the school of fish guy.
Well, also, I think, dude, another good point to bring up the memory loss. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No,
Presley.
I was just wondering
I
who Ham is in this movie.
yeah. Can you check that, Ed? But while I say that, I just I was just gonna say like she had some really cool scenes where her which is kind of a cool
No, he's
dilemma.
the teacher.
Is he's a stingray?
Gotta be. Yeah, now that I'm thinking his song, that's totally that voice.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought it was a school of fish. My bad. Um, so it is a stingray.
It's John Ratzenberg, Ed.
John Ratzenberg.
It was a school fish.
Oh,
You're right. Yeah, that would make sense though. Like, like they were all like, yeah, that totally makes sense. That's him.
Oh, it is the school of fish. Huh.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
yeah.
That
So
was that was like the turning point. That's where they're like, yeah, we
yeah,
have.
what? That's when
They're
they
the
actually
first
started
people
doing
to have
good.
seen him, right? Like, oh, yeah, we have seen him.
But and also because Marlon like he doesn't want to take any risks. He just wants to get his son back. He doesn't
Yeah,
want to take any risks. Dory, her entire being as a short-term memory loss person is to take risks because she doesn't know what she's doing in the first place. So these risks are working, but Marlon's like he won't come out of his own shell because of what happened. I think it's just kind of cool to see like Marlon at the end where he finally gets to Sydney and they don't succeed and he's like, you're the only reason I got here in the first place. I think that's kind of cool because he actually came out of his shell. He went on this adventure. He
yeah,
just to save his son. So I think that those kind of development like Dory was a perfect development person for Marlon to see how she can go like
yeah.
they're polar opposites. They're literally
But they're
polar opposites.
yeah, but that's the like she was the worst person for that situation, but also the best for him to change,
Mhm.
Because yeah, like you said, he broke out of his shell. Fuck, I was about to bring up something really like something that I thought was gonna be good, but it just blanked from my memory. Oh yeah, but like that whole adventure, like dude, this movie was so good with their character arcs, like because that whole adventure, not only did like he saved his son, but like he grew as a father because he was never doubted as a good father, but he was flawed in the fact that like he was like he kept him a little too close.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
And I think what shows that is, I think, really genius when in the beginning of the movie, the other parents ask him because he's a clownfish to tell him a good joke, and he doesn't tell them a good joke. And by the end of the movie, he's like the life of the party and the
yeah, he's a
funniest, like
clownfish.
coolest guy there. Um, so that and that like the joke progression of that same like I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like a mollusk walks into a bar and does something.
It's like it's a Moss walks in a bar, and then at the beginning it's like, and then he does, and then he sees it's like my grandmother telling a story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's like that guy's not very funny, and then at the end of the movie he's like one of the funniest people. So it's kind of cool to see that development. I just thought Marlon was, he's understandably a dick, but I thought it was carrying on to like a little too much. I don't think he was appreciative enough. Like he had
Dory. Yeah.
yeah, of Dory. He had one person to go on this adventure with, and
Dory's low key the best, honestly. She was
oh,
the best in that movie.
she
She
was
was
great. I thought Nemo, man, I love Nemo. His voice actor and his they just
she
made
was
him like
great.
they made him the most lovable
What
character
did they
ever. I
call him
loved
in the tank? What was his
Shark bait.
nickname?
Ooh, ah. Shark bait.
Yeah.
okay. Are you ready to become? Are you have? Then he had to. He like it was like a pledge ship. He had to jump through this like
Yeah, he like gets
fire
launched
thing,
or
and there's
something.
like you are now shark bait. Like I thought his bond with
That was
those two.
cool. That was a
Yeah.
really awesome thing. Cause yeah, like he was kind of he like bonded in captivity, you know, and like he kind of met some new friends. He grew too. Cause
hmm
like the sheltered guy, but he learned that all right, well, my dad just loved me and didn't want what happened to the rest of our family happen again. But on the you know what I mean? Like they both kind of grew up a little bit and like appreciate each other's side of things a little bit more, you know?
Hmm.
Their bond was like, you know, solidified. Like
Honestly,
they
Marlin grew up way more than Nemo.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Nemo's still
I
he's a
agree.
kid. No,
Well,
Marlon.
Joel, I mean, when
That's
you
why
talking about
the
growth,
whole like I feel like every single interaction he learned like a little bit. You know, you kind of saw him like picking up things from the turtles, even from the sharks and stuff. You know, this not really the seagulls. They didn't do that much.
Willem
Uh,
Dafoe learned a lot too.
who's
Scar, like
oh that William Dafoe?
yeah, the guy who tried to convince Sharkbait to make the tank empty because all he wanted in the world was to get back to the ocean, and then he had to realize that it wasn't more important than like the friends he already had. Like, there's just
mm,
so
Yeah.
many levels.
No,
I
there's a lot of levels. It was a that this movie was like touching like it was deep on so many levels. Like it
mm,
was
Is
great.
this S tier? Is this?
I
I feel like it's at least A.
I think it's definitely the first contender. Like
First contender for
I feel
sure.
like it has to be, bro. Nemo is like it's
I
what Toy
I
Story it's what the first Toy Story wanted to be, you know? I feel like it's just like there's not it's really hard to find like something bad about this. It was just a great happy movie, you know?
happy.
Well, feel good, I guess is the word. Not really happy, but it's feel good, you know, like
Feel good at the end.
it was
I
stressful throughout it all.
I don't think I couldn't get behind Marlin
Yeah.
until
That's valid. I
I didn't
support it, you
like
know.
I love how it was a movie about him finding his son through all of this turbulation, but I didn't like want it for Marlin. I wanted it for Nemo.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing. I don't know if it was the voice actor because honestly, I didn't really like him.
Yeah, the voice was a
Hmm.
little annoying.
I that,
I
that
don't
that's
know.
that's an opinion. Y'all don't have to take it from me.
He,
I don't think Marlon was a strong enough character for me to put this at S.
that's valid.
Then I guess A it
Yeah,
is.
you can put out aim. Um,
Because there's definitely some contenders coming up for S. So
Yeah.
my
we can be
Well,
patient.
my
honestly, before, oh, wait, do you have something to say about Finding Nemo?
yeah, this one like final thought about it. I mean, you could disagree, and I might just be thinking way farther into this, but this movie already is pretty deep on levels. Like Dory did have memory loss, and like Marlon did have unspoken trauma, so I feel like he was kind of taking out his anger a lot on Dory because you know
Do you think he
she
was doing it on purpose because she had short-term memory?
like not like on purpose, like
Mhm.
consciously, you know, but like you know, it was kind of like
Didn't
talking to
care
a
as
brick
much
wall.
because
Yeah,
she'd
like
forget.
he could yell what he wants, like get all the like, anger out, and then she would just forget about it within 10 seconds, you know, and like that maybe kind of solidified where he's just like, you know, the more and more they couldn't find her or find Nemo, the more stressed out he's got. Like my son is missing, so the more and more he's just like freaking out, getting angry, he's taking out on Dory because Dory's just, you know, just keep swimming. So like I think I think you're coming from a good spot, but I think it was kind of a necessary attitude he had. You know, he couldn't be a calm dad in that situation. You know, his son
Yeah,
is missing, got taken by humans. Like it's like all happy. He's getting PTSD. You know, so like I don't think I couldn't see him acting any other way. You know, I wouldn't really expect him to be like a calm, forgiving father in that moment.
right.
Yeah, and yeah, which is fair, but I'm gonna point to the example. You know when they're debating on going through the trench or over the trench, and Dory says go through the trench, and Nemo says, "Nope, you got to go over the trench, but you're actually supposed to go through the trench." Like Dory was right. and
Mm-hmm.
then Nemo went over, and that's how Dory got caught in the jellyfish, and like how she doesn't wake up. Like
Oh yeah,
that's something where
it's a good
I
scene.
think yeah, but like Dory was right. Like you're supposed to go through.
Well, he
Yeah,
constantly didn't trust her.
Yeah,
She said
at
that they
all.
should
exactly.
trust the sharks. She said that she could speak whale. He was like,
And
"Shut
she
up, you're an
could.
idiot." Like,
And and then
so,
and then and then the school of fish scene.
mhm.
Like she had like three or four just back to back to back to back, and that's why like Nemo never trusted her. Like I don't think he ever appreciated her until the very end. Obviously, they have all these journeys together and they go
Yeah.
with each other. So,
And she did
um,
have the best phrase, "just keep swimming," which is very applicable to
when you
life.
when you when you think of
So
Nemo or
classic.
Dory, you think of just keep swimming.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But it's
I
like
think
whatever
Dory.
goes on, whatever you run into a great white shark, just keep swimming. You run into the just keeps like just go, go, go until you accomplish your goal. I think that is
Besides Nemo, I feel like she was probably the most likable character in it.
It's the only time I've ever liked Ellen DeGeneres.
that's
Oh
a
yeah,
good
I keep
point actually.
forgetting. I kind of forgot that was Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's
so
Pixar's
often you
thing. She's
forget.
just
It's like, oh, that's fucking Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
she does a really good job though. Dory's a great
Great.
character,
She
Great
does. She
job.
great character.
does. She
Yeah,
does.
applaud her honestly.
Ellen,
Like,
if you're watching this, great job, honey.
if you're watching this, probably most likely we you killed it. You killed it
This
as
is her
Dory.
favorite show. This is her favorite podcast.
We're we would have been on Ellen in 2016.
Um,
Right. I think A is solid because you're right. We got a couple S. In my opinion, I think these next four could be five.
five.
Could be
Yeah.
any of these could be
But
S.
before
Honestly,
we go to Incredibles, I do want to piggyback sort of what we did with Lightyear with Finding Nemo and The Good Dinosaur because I feel like The
you
Good
mean Dory?
Dinosaur is just a shitty version of Finding Nemo. Like it's not the worst movie in the world. It's not terrible, but it is literally just Finding Nemo if it was pretty bad. Like
They just redid the story. I never watched that because I heard it wasn't that
it's
good.
basically it's almost like a reverse where the kid loses his dad and gets lost and has to find his way home. And his dory that he runs into is like a small human baby.
Wait, was it? It was Arlo,
Oh, the
right?
dinosaur needs to get home.
Yes, so the dinosaur so basically it's like Marlin and Nemo are going out, but Marlin dies and Nemo has to find his way back home and like solidify himself as like worthy to his family. But as far as like traversing the ancient Jurassic world, like when we like Marlin goes through the entirety of the ocean. We see just about every like oceanic creature you could ever hope for. You
We
see
see like my
like three or four
backyard.
dinosaurs
We see
in
like
this
my
movie.
backyard in the
Yeah,
Good Dinosaur.
it's just not a great like it's not a terrible movie. If that was Pixar's like first movie, like we'd probably say it's
Oh,
like
pretty good.
great. But because it came out in like what 2016 and we have such high
2015, I think.
standards,
I think maybe I might be wrong, but I thought it was 15.
it might be, yeah. But
Yeah,
in my opinion, it
I
is
might be
just
wrong.
such a copy of Finding Nemo, and it's just nowhere near the same level of quality or amazement.
dude. I thought you were
I,
about to
I
be finding Dory down there, and I was like, okay, bro, like, don't say that.
no,
I don't.
Yeah,
the
I would still
the
put Finding Dory as like D or C tier.
I want to put it
I'd
any
put it
higher than
C.
C,
I'd put
but
it
I
C.
wouldn't put it terrible. I thought it was still fine. It just
I'd
was
I'd,
like,
I'd put it C. I want to talk. I want to ask you a question about the Good Dinosaur Haze.
Mhm.
I was confused on the rules of the dinosaurs. Like, why were some of the dinosaurs just these like prehistoric like animals who were just like, predatory, but then you see uh what was the dinosaur's name? Was it Arlo or Henry?
Hold up.
Was
Um,
Henry the dinosaur?
okay,
Or
so it was 2015. Yes, Arlo was the main dinosaur.
okay, Arlo was the dinosaur. But why were some dinosaurs like so attacking and like unable to just like but like a dinosaur like Arlo.
Well, that's kind of getting into like the Pixar theory, and part of that is like when a species that is not humans goes without human intervention, they start to become very smart and conscious. And like we see, so the movie starts out with like dinosaurs being very, very primitive, and then the meteor that's supposed to hit doesn't hit. And then it
Yeah.
fast forwards like a few million years, and now they're farming, like they have like systems like put in place. And but you still kind of like Nemo, who again is not met with a lot of human intervention, and they have their own like society. Like you still have the barracuda, like you still have great white sharks. So there still is like the
Okay.
dinosaurs got to eat,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
there's still
Yeah.
that kind of like there are still dinosaurs that eat other dinosaurs just to live,
I
but they
think
still can, huh?
I think Hopper's probably going to answer a lot of that questions for the Pixar theory. It seems like
Yeah,
they,
Hopper's.
they
I'm
go in
excited
depth.
for that one.
I'm excited for it too,
But
honestly.
yeah, in Good Dinosaur, I would put it like D. It's not as bad as Lightyear. I don't think it needs to be terrible, but it's just not like, again, I just think it's a shitty
We're gonna
Finding
put an
Nemo.
F for now because like
Okay.
we got more to go through and like it is
Mhm.
one of the lower ones I would say in Pixar's
There,
you
there, there,
know.
there's a couple in that list I would easily put as F, but I mean as to Pixar standards, but I'm fine with it being an F for right now.
Yeah, we can move it around. I just think for
Yeah,
now we can get more onto that later once we kind of finalize things.
for
But
sure.
I think we should get